Hello and welcome to the YULLAX podcast. My name is Ron and this is episode 6 of the YULLAX podcast. And before I get into it, I have to share a little slice of life here because my day's been kind of rough. I was in Nashville for part of the week, and this morning I got up, I went to this trade show for a few hours, and then I hit the road around noon, and I got to Detroit at 10:30 tonight. And I get to my hotel, and it's a real dump. It's disgusting. There's no way I'm gonna stay there. So I checked one room, I checked another room. I said, no, I'm sorry, I just can't. And then I argued with this because I paid in advance for best rate. Anyways, so I'm gonna take it up with IHG people, but I had to find another hotel. So it took me 30 minutes or so, and I found this Holiday Inn Express that is somewhat acceptable. So here I am, and I'm a bit tired, but I want to do this tonight because tomorrow night I'll be on the road all day returning home. I'll probably get home around midnight, and then I only have Saturday to do this because we're already on actually, we're dead on. It's midnight. We're August 30th right now. So I'm like Friday morning, earlier morning. All right, so you saw the title of this podcast is Rivets, Cats, and Kamala. So it's an out-of-the-box topic. This is not your typical YULLAX topic where I should be talking about something related to LA or to Montreal, and this doesn't meet those criterias, but doesn't matter. Once in a while, I can do one of those because, hey, it's my podcast. I do what I want, whatever I want here. So this is an unbelievable story that is an actual fact, and I lived this. I'm going to tell you this story, and you might not believe it, but maybe you can check it later once I give you more details. So we're talking about 15 years ago, or just about. It was December 2009, and I was a sales manager back then for a company that had different locations, and I was into Ontario with, let's call her Jane Doe for now. So right, I don't want to name her, it doesn't matter anyways who it is. So I'm with Jane, and she's anxious and excited to bring me to this potential customer that she uncovered in her activities. And my job is to help her get the business, grow her sales, and everybody's happy. So here we go. So we get there, and after a brief introduction with the receptionist, we're just waiting for John Doe to come and greet us. And while we're waiting, I'm just looking around, looking on the walls, looking at the people passing. And it's kind of a reflex I have. I try to find something that's going to jump at me somehow and might trigger inspiration for a topic that will break the ice. Because after all, I'm meeting this person for the first time. I don't know that person. And I like to connect at a personal human level. So finding a topic that is out of the rivet business thing is often a good way to engage with that person. So luckily here it happened, and I see these big frames with a hockey jersey into each of them. And I noticed right away it's the original 6 of the NHL. You had one from the Montreal Canadiens that was Jean Béliveau's jersey with his signature. For the Bruins, Boston Bruins, you had Bobby Orr's jersey. I had Gordie Howe for the Detroit Red Wings. And for the Blackhawks, Chicago Blackhawks, I can't remember if it was Stan Mikita or Bobby Hull, but each of these jerseys are autographed, so they're worth something clearly. And we're missing the New York Rangers and the Toronto Maple Leaf, obviously. So I talked to Jane, and I said, "There's 2 missing." And she goes, "2 what?" I said, "The jerseys, 2 out." And then John arrived, John Doe. So I said, "I'll tell you later." So we go up to John's office / conference room. And on our way up, sure enough, I see the one for the New York Rangers. I think it was Rod Gilbert's jersey. And then in the office, we had the Toronto Maple Leafs, Darryl Sittler. So there you go. It's complete. You have a collection. You have the 6 original teams of the NHL. So obviously, I'm thinking this guy's a hockey fan. Well, when I asked him, so John, you have quite the collection here. I guess you're a big hockey fan. He goes, what? Like he didn't get my question? I said, the jerseys, the frames, the original 6, collection, hockey, hello? And he goes, oh yeah, well, no. It's a collection that I'm gathered for my grandson. He plays minor hockey, he's Pee-wee. And he loves the game, and I figured that would be his one day. As for myself, a bit, but I'm not a big hockey fan, It's Toronto Maple Leafs are not that exciting to follow, so I don't follow all that much. And okay, so that was a big fail. I thought I got a good icebreaker, but it did break the ice to a certain degree. So we got right into it, and I started asking questions about the rivets they use, applications, quantity, where they buy from, blah, 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 the whole 9 yards that we normally do. And right in the middle of it, he puts his hands on this table and says, Ron, I have to stop you. I have to ask you a question here. I said, yeah, John, what's your question? He goes, do you like cats? And I'm the one now that's, what? Like all confused. I could, how do we get from rivets to cats, right? In my mind. And I'm saying, you want to know if I like cats? He goes, yeah, do you? I said, well, yeah. And of course I'm going to say, yeah, I'm trying to sell the guy rivets. I'm not going to say no. But I happen to like cats, so that's fine. I'm not really lying. And he goes, okay. And I go, may I ask why you want to know this? I said, oh, I just wanted to know if you're a cat person. I said, well, I don't know that I'm a cat person. Liking cats doesn't necessarily make me a cat person, I think. I have a dog now. I had a cat before. Now it's a dog. I had 2 dogs, 1 cat. I like animals. I said, okay, continue. Well, continue. And the guy hits me with a, do you like cats question in the middle of my pitch? Now I didn't know where I was anymore. So it took me like half a minute to gather my thoughts and continue with my thing. And I get to the point where I'm wrapping up, I said, okay, I got all my information here. We'll gather a sample package for you. We'll submit some pricing. And we'll touch base in a few weeks. This was just before Christmas and December, a couple of weeks before. So I figured we'll touch base in January. He says, okay, but before you leave, Ron, I really want to show you my cats. Again with the cats, dude, what's the matter here? And I had to play along, right? I won the guy's business. So I said, okay, where are they? And I'm trying to, oh, no, they're not here. They're at my home. But I have pictures. So, God, here we go. So from beneath his desk, he gets this huge picture album, photo album, and he puts it on the table. And all I can think about is, Aunt Mildred talking about Uncle Larry, and this is 1972, we're camping here, and you could see that Larry just had his operation. You can see the stitches on his leg. I mean, we'll go on and on. I'll be here all day looking at cat pictures. So again, I play along, and he flips it over and opens it, and what I see in there is pictures of lions, tigers, and panthers. And I go, wait a second, John. Are you telling me that those are your cats? He goes, yeah, all excited like a kid in a candy store. Way more excited about this than the collection of jerseys, I can tell you. And I go, what do you mean they're your cats? You own these, but they're at a zoo or something, right? He says, no, 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 no. They're at home. I said, what kind of a home do you have? I mean, I have a 90-pound Labrador dog in the house, and he takes room. I mean, you notice him. He's not small. And you have, what here, 400-pound cats? He goes, oh, some are up to 650. Okay. How many of those do you have? Says, I have 7. I can't remember if he had 3 tigers, 3 lions, and a panther, or 3, 2, 2, 4. I don't know what was the combination, but he had 7 large felines, right? That's the term, in his house. I said, how big is your house? He says, they're not in the house, Ron. I have quite a large property, and I've got land. And I had this big habitat made for them. Each cat has its own cage, but it's a big cage. And every cage, there's a tree they can climb. They have things to do. They're very well taken care of. I said, okay, I'm sure. But how is this legal? I mean, we're in the country here, but we're like not outside of civilization. I couldn't understand how this could be legal in Canada. I said, no, it's legal. Don't worry. The city's well aware of my possessions. And he goes and he points at this tiger. Says, that's my boy here. That's my favorite. He's my pride and joy. I said, wow, nice, very nice. This is a very interesting story, John. I didn't know where you were going with these cats, but this is quite amazing. But aren't they dangerous? He says, of course not. He says, you had a cat. I said, yeah, but my cat was, 10 pounds. Your cats are 600 pounds. Not the same thing. They scratch you, they bite you. The difference might be quite big with my little scratch and bruises from my little Chester. So he goes, no. The thing is, Ron, that these cats, big or small, they have all this one thing in common. 20 hours a day, what do? They sleep like your cat. I said, well, yeah, the 20 hours a day that they sleep, obviously it's no danger. It's the 4 hours that they're awake that I'm concerned with. How is that not dangerous, And he goes, well, first of all, cats don't attack. They hunt to eat. That's it. But if they're not hungry, there's no reason for them to hunt or attack or do anything because they're satisfied. So I play with them all the time. I said, you play with them? I said, oh yeah, we wrestle, we hug, especially with my tiger. He's very affectionate. Okay. I said, well, John, you tell quite a story here, and I must say, I can't wait to tell this to my son. And he goes, why? Why would your son, why? Tell me more. He's all excited again. He's lighting up like a Christmas tree. I said, well, my son is graduating soon. He's going to be a veterinarian. And he, as a kid, he used to spend a lot of time looking at lions and tigers at a zoo. So he found them to be quite interesting and beautiful because they are. He says, oh, well, here's what we're going to do, Ron. Now it's December. It's not the best time. There's snow and everything. But let's say in the spring, we'll make a barbecue at my house. You bring the family. You bring the boy. He can play with the cats. The cats. And we'll make a day of it. We'll have some burgers and beer and have some fun. And of course, I want to do business with him and say, hey, John, I might take you up on that offer. He says, well, I hope you will. You better, because I want to do business with you, and that's fine, but I want to do this too. This is very important to me. And I say, all right, John, we'll see about that in the spring. But in the meantime, I'll get you as I said, the samples and quote and everything. Say, yeah, don't worry, we'll do business. It'll be fine. So, all right, we'll touch base in January. So then I get in the car and I look at Jane and I say, what the fuck just happened here? I was flabbergasted. She was speechless. It was like a Twilight Zone. We go in to sell rivets, and now we're talking about lions and tigers. It was surreal. By far, my most far-fetched story in the sales business. So I call up my wife, and I said, listen, you won't believe this, but I think I found a very good idea for a gift for Christmas present for our son. She says, what? I said, I just met this guy, and he happens to own and has at his house tigers, lions, and panthers. She goes, what? I said, yeah, I'll tell you more. It's just, I still have to wrap my head around this. I'll get back to you, babe. I'll see you later or whatever. And then Jane and I just went about our day and the rest of the trip. But the story doesn't end there, of course. Then comes January. And it's so funny because today I woke up in Nashville, and that particular morning of January 11th, I flew out to Nashville. I had to go for business, so I left early, crack of dawn, or not even. It was still pitch dark, I guess. So I get to Nashville quite early in the morning. I retrieve a rental car. I set up the GPS and everything, and then I call my wife to let her know that I landed, everything went well, I'm safe and sound, and everything is okay. I'll call you later, have a great day. She goes, no, don't hang up. I said, what? She goes, remember you told me about this guy that you saw a month ago with the tigers? And I said, yeah. She says, what, was that in London, Ontario? I go, no, it was Strathroy, and it wasn't far from London. Why? She says, well, I heard on the news today, on the radio, that a man in London, Ontario was killed by a tiger. I go, what? I said, did they say in London or near London? She says, I don't know. I think they said in London. I said, it could still be him. Was it his tiger or a tiger? She says, I don't know. It was, I just heard it while I was doing my stuff, getting ready. I said, wow. All right, well, thanks, babe. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later. I had to call Jane. I had to find out if it was our guy. So I called Jane, get her voicemail, of course. And I tell her, hey, Alex. Whoops, I just named her. Sorry, doesn't matter. I said, hey, Jane, I just landed in Nashville. I called the missus to report in and make sure she knew I was okay. And she told me she heard on the news that a guy in London was killed by a tiger. I'm wondering if it was our guy. So if you know anything, give me a shout. So I start my day and I make sales calls. And then between two calls, I realize I missed her call. So I listen in, and she left me a voicemail, and it goes something like, Ron, it's our guy. I can't believe this. I don't know what to do. Call me, So I called her and I said, how do you know it's our guy? She says, there's a picture and his name in the paper. It's our guy. I said, holy shit. Wow. So we didn't find much out. We obviously never got the business because we couldn't follow up with this. And the business was dismantled or closed or whatever. I can't remember. But yeah, folks, that's how weird this life can be. And the things that you see on the road for 30 some years now, I met a lot of people, and I have all sorts of sales story, but this is by far my most bizarre. You know, like within a month of seeing the guy and challenging him on the safety of owning these cats. They said, oh, no, no, no. And then a month later, he's dead. So what we found out is apparently he went in to feed them, as he always do and does. And there's like kind of a slot in the cage to pass the tray, plate, or whatever. And it's after feeding them that he would sometimes go in one of the cage and play with one of the cats. So his wife, one night, this Sunday night on the 10th, she goes in, she was wondering, this is taking too long, I better check on him. And she found him dead in the cage of his pride and joy tiger. So there you go, folks. Only on YULLAX podcast you'll hear stories like this with Ron Lachance's life. So I hope you enjoyed it. And as for Kamala, I just put the name in the title to get more clicks. Hopefully I'll get some. I'm not going to talk about Kamala and that race and all that. Nope, not going there. Yeah, Rivets, cats, and Kamala. Next podcast will be published on September 30th, and it should be more of a theme with the theme of, of the YULLAX. It'll either be about LA or Montreal or both. Until then, play safe, and I'll see you in a month. Take care.